Everyone, I hope everyone's happy and healthy. I have a whole bunch of little balls of my scrap yarn. I got some scissors. A lot of this is Mainstay or Red Heart. And I'm just going to go ahead and use a 5.00 millimeter crochet hook. I think that's a good size. And I want you to watch me make a hat. Let's get to it. Alrighty, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my first color and I'm going to make a chain. So I'm making a slip knot. Basically, I just tied this knot around my long strand. That way it will move. I'm going to put it on my hook. And I'm going to pull it tight. Not too tight. I decided to start with my purple. It really doesn't matter what color you decide to start with. And I'm just going to make a chain. This is going to be the height of my hat. So just about where the top of my ears are to the top of my head. Just grab your yarn and pull it through. Let's see here. I'm going to count, and you can just look at your stitches here. 2, 3, 4. I have 20. Wow, right on the dot. Okay, so I'm going to do my hat with 20 stitches. So I have 20 stitches. I'm just going to chain 1. And if you want to use a stitch marker, that's where you want to put your stitch marker. Okay. I'm going to go in to the first stitch, which is right here. The yarn's coming out of that one, so it's not a stitch. We're going to go into the one next to it. We're going to go under one strand of yarn. We're going to pull our yarn through, and we're going to do a single crochet all the way across. This is going to be our repeat row. So what I'm going to do is I am going to change my color yarn every row so I can get that different color effect that's on the top of my hat. When I get done with that, I'll do my rim. So I'm going to do a single crochet all the way across. I'm going to go under one strand of yarn, and I'll meet you at the end. So I got my little stitch markers. So I'm going to put where I chained 1, I'm going to put my stitch marker there. And I'm almost to the end here, and I have my other ones. You can use whatever you want to for your stitch markers. I personally use earrings. As you can tell, I do wear those too. I love them. So now I'm here at the very last stitch. I'm going to go in, do my single crochet. Then I'm going to choose another color. Now, I know that this is going to make, I'm going to cut mine and add another color. And I think it's going to be worth it at the end, even though it's a little time consuming to do this. I'm going to tie these together with a knot. I'm going to go ahead and just leave these hanging, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put them on the inside of my hat. There we go. I tied a knot. Okay. So I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my stitch marker there. Going to turn my work, and we're going to start going across, and we're going to go right into this very first one. I'm going to do a single crochet, and you can see I'm going underneath 2 loops, and I'm just going to do a single crochet all the way across. I'm sorry, my cats are making the table wobble. I have 8, and they're running around like crazy people because they just got wet cat food, and they're all happy. Okay, here we go. Oh, they hit the table again. So, you can see this is really pretty. So I am going to make this, just going to keep doing this, and this is how tall my hat's going to be. So I'm going to keep checking to see how many rows I need to wrap this around my head. Everybody has a different size head. When I make hats for my friend, they're never long enough to go over her ears, so I have to make hers extra long. But when they fit my head must be rounder than hers, and hers is longer. I don't know. So I'm just going to do different colors at each end. I'm going to tie off, and I'm not doing a pattern. I'm just going to do it randomly. Okay. So see, I have my stitch marker there. I'm going to go into this last stitch. And so I did not go into that chain one, but you can see I went into the last stitch just before it. I'm going to chain one. I always put my stitch marker in there so I know where my chain one was. I'm going to turn, and I'm going to go into that. Oh, I'm going to change my color. What am I doing? You know what? I'm just going to go and change my color right now. I almost forgot. I don't want two rows of the same color. I think I'm going to use white. This white will make it nice and bright. Okay. I'm just letting my hand hang out. I'm going to turn it. I'm going to go into this very first stitch. So when I come back, that will be my last stitch that I go into. So I'm just going to go all the way across. I'm going under two strands. I've got a lot of tails, but I'm not worried about them because I'm just going to bury the ones at the top in my hat. And the ones at the bottom I will bury when I put my brim on. This is going to be very pretty and colorful and striped. So this is something you could do with your scrap yarn, because you can say I only chained 20, so it's not taking up very much yarn at all. If you wanted to do this all with one solid color, that would be great too. If you wanted it to go really fast, you could use a large needle, like an 8, and use Bernat Baby, which I've done, and it came out beautiful. So you can see here that's my chain 1. So we know that this one stitch just before it is our last stitch. And I'm going to change my color. I love this color. I'm going to tie it in a knot. I'm a knot lover. I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to move my marker up. So remember, you're not going to go into this chain 1 space. You know this marker's in that chain 1, so you know you don't want to go in there, so you know that this one that we're doing right now, we went in that very first one, we know that's going to be our last stitch so that it comes out nice and straight. We're going to go under both strands, and we're just going to go to the end. We're going to keep doing that until it is take it this way and wrap it around our head. And if you wanted to make a scarf to match, you would just do the same pattern and make it as long as you want. And if you want it to be a cowl or, you know, a wrap one around your neck, you can just connect the two ends together. It's really simple. And you've created something beautiful. This could be for a boy or a girl. You could change the color of the rim for your hat for any gender, of course, and it would be beautiful. So just keep on going. You can see here that I have went quite a ways, used a lot of scrap yarn. I just did all different colors. I think it looks really good. And I'm going to grab, I have a needle here. I have 2 needles that both had yarn on them, so I just grabbed them because I don't even care what color I use. And I crocheted this way, but I tried this on around my head and it fits fine. And I decided as I was going, I was thinking, I changed my mind a lot. Then I'm looking at this and I kind of like all these little pieces sticking up. I didn't bury any of them. So this is going to be the outside of my hat. Yep, this side. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to weave my needle in and out of these stitches. I'm going to tie it to my first I left that tail nice and long to use it to sew my hat in, but I didn't do it. So just going to cut that booger off. Okay. So I'm just going to continue. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this tight and make this the top of my hat. And I want these to point up. I don't want to get them caught in it on sewing it. If I see any that I didn't tie, I'm going to do that now. They should all be pretty much tied. And I'm going in the holes. I'm also going in some of the stitches right through them. I have 8 cats, so yeah. And I don't even think that was cat hair. I think that was grandma hair. So I'm just going to do this and then pull it tight. This is going to be a pretty colorful. You know, I have enough yarn that I could probably do a scarf to match. However, I did make a baby blanket with little squares, so please take a look at that. Oh, yeah. And I made 2 of them because I just had so much excess. You know, sometimes you just get in that mood and you look at all the little balls you have and you're just like, oh my gosh, I need to do something with this. I've just got too much. This is going to look so cute when I just pull it and have all these little pieces on the top. I love making hats. Oops. Okay, so I'm here at the end. Now I am just going to pull it. Look at how that all gathered together. Turn it over. And I'm going to connect it. I'm going to go right into this first stitch here on the top. I'm going to bring them together and pull. Look at that. And now I'm just going to tie a knot with any color that's sticking up. Pull it nice and tight. I think this is pretty tight, but I'm also going to go through this a little bit just to make sure. I'm just going to go straight through to the other side and pull it. I'm going to grab all this loose yarn and pull it up. It will make it easier. And then I'm going to just go in here and go all the way through to the other side. more time. Just gonna go in here because I want to work my way back over here because I'm going to sew this down. So I'm just going to pull my yarn through here. Now, this is not long enough this way, so I'm going to put a rim on it, which was my plan to do. But look at this. It's going to be on the top of the hat. Isn't that cute? And then when I do my rim, I'm going to have all these pieces hanging out. So I'm going to do my rim, and this is just going to hang over the rim on the outside. You could put it on the inside if you wanted to. You know, when I start things, sometimes I change my mind, and I just changed my mind when I was doing this because I decided it would make it different and really cute and colorful. So now I am going to sew this really simple. I'm just going to go into one and go into the one right across. With all this color, I do not believe having a white stripe is going to make that much of a difference. I'm just going to put them together here and sew it all the way to the end, and then I'm just going to tie it in a knot with any color that I see hanging there. You could also sew it together on the inside if you wanted to. So I'm going in the last stitch of this one, the last stitch of that one. I'm going to go through that area twice, and then I'm going to tie it with this pink one. I'm going to cut it. There we go. And this is the outside of my hat. Here's the inside. Whoa, I got quite a bit on the inside still, so I could get my crochet hook out and pull them to the outside. And I'm not trimming any of these. I know they're all different sizes, but that's the character of this hat. So now I'm going to work on my rim. I have some Mainstay white, so I'm going to use this for my rim. You could, of course, use your scraps for your rim also. I'm going to use a slip knot here. I have a 5.0 hook. There we go. And I'm going to start on my, and I'm going to have the outside facing me of the hat, and I'm just going to pull these down. So the first row might be a little hard with all these little pieces, but after that it will be fine. I am going to do double crochets. So I'm going to yarn over my hook. See, now I have my finger holding this right here, just on this side of the knot, so it doesn't move, and then I just yarn over. Put all those little pieces to the front. Just going to go in, pull my yarn up, go through two, and go through the last two. Now you can see I moved my finger, but this finger is holding down below, so it made it real easy just to go ahead and do a double crochet. If you wanted to go inside and chain 3, you could also do that. So I'm going to go into each one of these openings, which makes it pretty easy because I have different colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in between each color and do a double crochet. Maybe it would be easier if I went into each color. Let's do that. So I'm going to go into the green. And I'm going to go into the white. I'm going to go into the red. That makes it easier. My plan is to go all the way around, and then on my next row I am going to do front double crochet posts and back. Oh, you little booger. You need to come to the front. There we go. So we're going to do front post, front post, back post double crochets. So I will meet you at the end. I'm here at the end. I have all my pieces out here in the front. And I'm going to find the top. Bring the light a little bit closer. Of my double crochet. You can see it here. And I'm not going to go into that one because it's really loose. I'm going to go into the one next to it. And I'm going to do a slip stitch. That way it brings it a little bit closer and tighter. So now I'm going to chain 2, only 2, and I am going to go around this double crochet. So I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to go all the way around it, pull my yarn through, and that's a front post, a double crochet. Now we're going to do a back post. So I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to go from the back to the front, around that stitch, pull my yarn up, and do my double crochet. So it's the front, and once you do this a while, you'll catch the hang of it. And then you're going to do the back. This makes a beautiful pattern for a rim. Front, back, front, back. And you can go around as many times as you want with this front, back. So my next row, where there's a front, you can see it because it's protruding, I'm going to do a front. Where there's a back, I'm going to do a back. I'm going to stay on the same side of my project and just keep going around until my border's as long as I want it to be. It could be once, this one time, it could be 2 times, 3 times, however many times you want to go around. I think I might have to go around 3 or 4 times because I want my rim to be nice and long. I love this stitch. If you did a whole blanket in this stitch, it would be so warm because it's so thick. When you do this like this, it's so nice and thick. So my hat's going to be like this. It's going to be my rim. And here's my top. Isn't it pretty? I'm pretty happy with it so far. So I'm just going to keep working on it. Here's my hat, my finished project modeled by my beautiful granddaughter, Kaylee. Isn't it gorgeous? I am really happy with the way it turned out. I like all those little pieces hanging. Here she is outside. She's so beautiful. Well, thank you for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll be back soon. Bye.